Boys, it is Dcroft, and as you guys can see, I do have a new favorite offense in college football 26. Now, we are going to be rocking the Tulane playbook, and we're going to be running bunch tight end. Now, there are some other teams with a very similar playbook. I believe Houston and Arkansas State going to be two very similar playbooks to this one that you are seeing. Now, the reason why I really like this formation, though, is because of the gun bunch tight end. One of my favorite formations in this game, and by far one of the easiest things to learn how to run at a high level or at a starter level in this game. Now, first and foremost, I really like this because of the auto motion wheel. Auto motion wheels in this game, very, very good. You also have some nice auto motion runs that also get attached to it here too. Then you have a good play action play in PA verticals, and mesh dig has a very good and effective crosser on that play. Then you get a nice little whip route from motion H out, motion tight end halfback, hitch halfback seam, very good dynasty play. That's the other thing, very good on the road dynasty plays within this playbook. You got a great little running section right here. Halfback draw, also very good. X spot, staple of this offense. And then lastly, you are going to have mesh. Mesh is probably my favorite other formation that I do like calling from this. Now, quickly, you want to go ahead and see the audibles of what I'm rocking. These are the audibles that I personally like. I do think you could make an argument to take out mesh and potentially just add a run right. For me personally, I do just like to have that for pass play, but I totally understand if you want to put an RPO alert bubble into your audibles. Now, I do like this gun bunch wide. Now, I don't actually really call this a ton, but it is solid, so I feel like it's worth mentioning. You've got verticals, Z spot, very good here. Clear out FLN, also very, very good. Now, you do have trips tight end offset weak. I'm a very big fan of trips in this game, so I do like calling trips tight end offset weak. Quickly, I want to make sure I do show you guys my audibles just for all these formations. So these are my audibles for the gun bunch wide here. Then trips tight end offset weak, this is what it's going to currently look like. Obviously, pause as needed. Do want to make sure that I am showing everything at a good pace here. Really like this verticalist play. It is one of the easier plays just to set up. You can make one easy hot route and make this play super, super effective. Some very good RPO bubbles here. A wing trio formation, kind of similar to a formation like U-trips, if you guys have ever heard of that in Madden. Just a good, effective spacing formation. Got a couple of neat RPOs there too. Now, one of the reasons why I actually really like this formation is because of the red zone. They've got this formation called single back ace double wing. Very, very effective red zone formation right here. And I really like this because I don't really feel like I get stopped in the red zone a ton when I do run this playbook. And I think scoring in the red zone is something that people overlook a lot when trying to pick a playbook. Now, you do also have this I form tight. Again, just another very, very solid formation. Now, there are more formations in here that are actually very good. This trips halfback weak right here. You're actually going to have a quarterback blast and a direct snap from here too. So you guys can kind of get the gist of it. It's just a very good overall playbook within this game. But boys, let's go ahead and get into some games here. You guys are going to get my uncut thought process in terms of everything that I like to do on offense in this video. We are going to be showing you exactly how I like to run Tulane at the highest possible level. Let's get into it. All right, boys, and game number one, using the Tulane offense. Now, as I said in the intro, you guys are probably going to see bunch tight end the most. Bunch tight end just happens to be my favorite formation in this playbook. I think it's, again, just very, very simple, very, very easy to master. Now, one of the biggest things that they did actually recently change in the latest title update is going to be flipping. Now, look, there's this whole debate around like flipping in general and why you do it. So first off, let's talk about why you want to flip your offense. It's going to manipulate defensive coverages to make it easier to run your offense. So be in mind, when you guys see somebody flip, there is a reason why they are doing it, right? Now, I do not like the flip meta. I want to make sure that this is really, really clear. I do not think it should be a thing. I think it should be patched. It actually has been patched, and it's nowhere near as good as what it used to be. But flipping is just something that you guys will see until it's like honestly out of the game. It is something that you guys will honestly always see. Now, I will do whatever it takes to be the best possible, and that's something that I think a lot of you guys fail to understand at times. Is if something's really good, even if it's not realistic, even if it's not sim, you should probably do it, right? Because at the end of the day, winning is more fun. Like if you are winning games, it is inevitably going to be more fun for you. So for me, I do just kind of have this habit of flipping. Do you need to also flip? No. You do not need to flip to make this formation good. It is just a personal habit that I do have that I think does make it slightly better, but I don't think is 100% necessary. Now, right there, he actually did play a little bit good run defense right there. I really like the halfback off tackle against any type of defense that is like a mid blitz 3-4 odd, any of those heavy blitzes. That run typically works a little bit better. Sadly for us, it did not work right there. Now, one of the reasons why I really like this formation is just because of these tight end corners. Tight end corners are going to be very effective in this game, as we do sadly take a false start, but tight end corners, very, very good in this game. Something that you guys should implement within your offense is going to be the tight end corner. I think tight end corners are just one of the best routes in really any offense, right? So actually, I might have to take a timeout right here because I did mess up my audibles. But as long as you guys are putting good man-beating routes on the field like tight end corners, being able to beat man defenses like this should be a really simple thing, especially in this style of offense. So again, very simple play right here. I'm actually going to go ahead and run something slightly different. We'll go ahead and put like a whip route there. Go ahead and hike the ball right here. Ooh, and he actually played very good defense right there. We'll go ahead and just take off with our quarterback. We'll go ahead and get down right there. I thought for a half second we might be able to get a few more yards. But let's go ahead and just talk about more man beaters, right? It looks like we are playing somebody that is going to be running a lot of man coverage. Definitely a very popular style of defense within this game. You know, the mid blitzes of the world, still very good in this game, right? I don't actually know exactly what defensive front he is in right now. Looks like he is, oh, now he is in mid blitz. So one of the best things that I like against mid blitz is actually just going to go ahead and be this auto motion wheel. Auto motion wheel is very, very good. Now I'm just going to run a little bit of a mesh concept outside of that, like this. And the reason why I want to run this is because of the fact it's going to bump really effectively. Now, he's actually going to give up the wheel right here. As you guys can see, that's one of the reasons why I really like this formation. Ooh, I was not realized I was still running. I thought I was being tackled. But it's just going to be easy to have those auto motion wheels just fry man, right? You know, if you have a good receiver, those wheels are just going to fry man every single time. It kind of makes man very tough to run when you do have those auto motion wheels. Now, even if you don't run this offense right, you guys can obviously just see just from that one play how good those auto motion wheels are. Now, I've also really liked these stemmed curls. Like, stemmed curls have been really, really good for me. You guys can see right here, it looks like it is being guarded, but I promise you, you're always going to have that window where you can just like come underneath and then essentially just like get the ball, right? You know, the defensive player isn't really ever going to guard it, so you're always going to have that window. Now, I think for the sake of this video too, I'm not going to try to flip for you guys. I get you guys don't like flipping. As I said, I wish that they would just entirely remove the flip button. I think it would make for much better gameplay, but regardless, I just do have a habit of it. Now, right here, little RPO bubble. Again, very easy, very simple thing. And we do just walk in for an easy 7 to start this game. Real quick, boys, if you guys are a CFB26 or a Madden 26 player, if you guys want to have more fun and win more, throw touchdowns like this, and then bag the most annoying of offenses, make sure you guys check out civil.gg, where I drop my tournament winning schemes on. We recently did a survey that said 98.1% of players that sign up win more. For a limited time, use code Dcroft40 to save 40% off yearly and monthly memberships. Once you sign up, you'll get instant access to the schemes to start winning more. As you guys can see, it's just a very simple, very easy, effective offense. I don't really think you have to get cute in this offense. It's going to be easy base setups. You can get a lot more in depth with the two-lane offense too. You know, we did show you guys like the halfback direct snap. Very, very good run in this game. Quarterback blast. Very, very good. Does have a good under center run scheme too, if that is something you are interested in. But for this, we are just really going to be running mostly bunch tight end. Now, I didn't really know anything about Tulane before I started using this team. I did not realize like their secondary color was light blue, but I kind of like this light blue. I don't know about you boys, but very, very big fan of this light blue. Now, one sad thing about the patch, boys, is sadly they did have stunts get basically broken again. So you actually can't pick stunts at the play call screen, which is a little bit sad. You have to quick adjust them every single time. Now, we will be talking about this in our defensive video that does come out, because 2-4 single mug has been one of my favorite defenses. We're not going to talk a ton about defense in this video, as he actually is running a little bit of bunch tight end himself right here. But you do actually have to quick adjust stunts again. You know, there is that play call menu that does pop up to pick up stunt, or to pick a stunt, excuse me. But I don't know what happened in the patch. Sadly, we can't do it anymore. Now, right there, I believe it's in the Arkansas State playbook. Now, Arkansas State has that play whips. I believe that was whips right there. I didn't get a chance to look at the rest of the routes on the field. I just saw that one whip route obviously frying right there. So it could have just been like a standard zig route, but I do think it was whips. Now right there, he's actually not playing bad right now in his own little bunch tight end. And luckily for us, we were able to get a swat right there. But what you guys are gonna see right here, so again, to pick a stunt, I'm gonna hold down. I'm gonna pick Texas 4-man. It is not Texas 4-man. So I do just have to quick adjust this. Now I do hope that this is something that gets fixed, because I am a fan of stunting. I don't know what you boys have thought about stuntings at initial glance. I thought it's been a very fun thing, as right there, a little bit of a leverage shot by him. He's able just to cut in front of me. And it just makes it a little bit easier to quick adjust on defense. You know, I think that the offense is at a slight advantage currently in this game. I do think offenses are able to do a lot of just easy things right now. You know, flipping, audibling, route or custom stemming, all these like very basic things that I think are very, very good in this game on offense. And I just need like a little bit more defensively on this game. Drop picks I think are slightly better, but you know, I do think there are just a couple more things I would like to see defensively in this game. Now, right here, he's actually going to a little bit of his own direct snap right here. Now, first drive on defense, he's actually played really good so far. I really haven't had an answer for him in any way, shape, or form. As the game goes on, I am confident we'll eventually be able to have a stun come in, be able to have a very easy way of getting some type of pressure. But at this current point in time, he's just played a good drive. I'm not trying to over-adjust. I'm not trying to outthink or anything like that. I'm just trying to get a feel for what he does and what he doesn't like calling right here. I was actually anticipating another direct snap. Now we are not able to make the tackle, boys. One of the big things I have noticed, I've noticed no difference with stiff arm. I don't know about you boys, stiff arming still feels insane to me. By far the best ball carrier move. I feel like you can just spam it. You don't really even have to, you know, time it up. You just get around somebody. You just keep spamming it. Now, it's obviously been nerfed a little since the start of the game. You know, at the start of the game, you could, like, without exaggeration, you could actually, like, stiff arm 6 people on a play. Right now, it feels like the first one's almost always a guarantee. Second one's a little bit more 50-50. Anything after that feels a little bit extreme. And not something I really have seen a ton of. You guys can see right there, I actually do get my own stiff arm animation right there. Now he is actually going to keep running man coverage right here. He's in like, I forget what formation this is. This is a new formation in this year's game. It's like nickel overload or something like that. Now again, we're just going to set up a very basic man beating play right here. Really like these speed outs as good man beating routes. Obviously you guys know about the auto motion wheel, so we're going to go ahead and hike that right here. We are just going to throw a whip route right here. Looks like he was on in zone coverage on that right side of the field. And yeah, so that's a thing that I really like. You know, auto motion wheels, right? How it opens up your offense. You should always be looking for unique routes to help open up your offense, right? It's one of the key things that I think a lot of people miss out on in this game is how can you have unique routes open up your offense? And for me, it is going to be the auto motion wheel. You know, auto motion wheels are going to be such a big part at opening up the offense for me. Now, we did have the running back angle route over the middle. Did just get pressured right there. I'm not flipping anymore too, boys. Last time I mentioned it, no more flipping for man. Now, for me personally on offense, especially when I'm playing like a man coverage heavy player, I would probably spam a little bit more of the RPO bubble. Now, for the sake of this, I don't want to run a bubble every single play. I think it'd just be kind of boring to watch. But if you are playing somebody as, wow, he gets great pressure right there. If you are playing somebody that is running like super heavy man coverage, that RPO is going to be money. It's going to be so good for you guys to just consistently pick up easy, effective yardage, right? I don't think it's very easy to stop it out of zone. You kind of have to overcommit in man coverage to even be able to stop it in the first place, which is really what makes it so good, right? You have to just start overcommitting to something very basic in terms of just running a very basic play on offense. Now, right here, great switch stick by him. We are actually able to have some good stick work right there and pick up the first down there too. Now, there are some other auto motion plays here. So you have these motion halfback out right here. And one of the things that they did actually update about CFB26, my camera might be covering it here. Let me double check. Nope, camera's in the top right. So as you guys can see, we actually go ahead and have the the flat route. This guy right here. So we go ahead and have flat routes back, which is a good thing, right? I do think having flat routes back are very good. kind of some other things that you can do. Ooh, we could have thrown RB right there. I'm just gonna take off with my quarterback, but there are some like good things that we can actually do with that. Now, for the sake of this, I'm actually gonna quickly move my camera, boys. I did not realize my camera was up there. Typically my camera is supposed to be there, so let me know if that is a little bit better for you guys. I don't know if like my gameplay is being blocked out from being in that corner, but yeah, a lot of good things come from flat routes coming back into this game. Big fan of it. Right here, a little bit of another RPO, and again, I actually think against this style of defense, I could probably run the RPO 80% of the game if I wanted to. Again, not going to do that because I think that's very boring, but something that you could potentially do. Now, very big thing about offense in general is having like simple mesh concepts. So this is just, again, like very simple, easy, quick hike mesh concept right here. Now he's running a little bit of mid blitz, and we are going to have our post just completely naked right here. Now, the reason why this started to become like my favorite offense, right? Because I think it's a fair question about Dcroft. Why did you stop running just traditional gun bunch, right? And it's a fair question, right? So first and foremost, patches, right? Patches do happen. Once a patch does happen, there are going to be minor tweaks that do happen within the game where you're like, okay, maybe this offense isn't as good anymore. Let me go ahead and hop into an offense I think is better. The reason why this actually became my favorite offense is how the defensive meta started to shape, right? So when I first got the game, right, you know, we were lucky enough to have early access for this game. I was just playing Civil all day, every day. And for me, like, Gun Bunch has been such a staple offense, right? That for me, what I kind of ended up realizing is I didn't think Mid Blitz was that good. I thought Mid Blitz was honestly kind of mid. No pun intended. I just didn't think it was like that good, right? I was playing Mid Blitz and mid, like I just didn't think it was that good. But essentially, once the entire community got the game, right, I started to notice like a lot more people like really figuring out like ways to stunt out of Mid Blitz, right? You know, you could start running Mid Blitz, right, and then you could stunt out of it. Just a lot of like unique blitz concepts you could do from it that just were new to me, right? Like things I had never seen before in any video game. So in my head, I had to start figuring out, okay, what's the best way to beat Mid Blitz? And for me, it became bunch tight end, right? And I think that's what ended up having me lean towards running this offense, right? Is it just became the best way for the way people wanted to play defense against me, right? It was a very simple, very effective thing. I felt like I didn't really ever need to like over adjust running this style of offense, and I could just easily run a basic offense like bunch tight end. Then we still had like some good core concepts from like a gun bunch wide, right? So again, not a traditional gun bunch, but gun bunch wide, still good. And then the last thing that really came down to the thing about Tulane that I do love about Tulane so much is it has such good red zone. Like the red zone in it is just so incredibly good. And I think when you guys are, you know, this guy's actually dotting me right now in his own gun bunch right here. But as you guys saw this game just kind of develop, right, that red zone started to become tough for me in UCLA, right? I felt like I was having to do a little bit too much. I felt like I was having to work a little bit too much there. I felt like I was just in too many positions where I could have lost games because of just poor red zone, right? And that is something that can happen in some books. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily always your fault for that, something like that happening, but it is something that just can happen. Now, I'm actually going to come out on goal line right here. I would be stunned if this wasn't a direct snap. Let's check. Actually, might not be a direct snap here. Might be taking a timeout here. Let's see. No, it is just a direct snap. I'm too smart. But red zone in Tulane was so easy for me. I was able to like consistently score inside the 5. And when you're looking at books, if you're not able to get that consistent seven, excuse me, boys, in the red zone, right? That's like the make or break of so many games, right? You know, so many games, like the make or break of it in a game is. Ooh, he's gonna be short though. Okay, he is short. That is just going to be the make or break of so many games, right? Do you get 7s or are you settling for 3s, right? You know, my target number is always around like, I'd say like 75% touchdown to field goal ratio. I think if I'm in that range when I get into the red zone, I feel like I'm playing good red zone, right? I feel like that's a number that my goodness, man, we can't make the tackle there. I feel like that's a number I've always been very comfortable at, knowing I'll be in a good spot in games if that's my red zone possessions. If it's closer to like 50% touchdowns, 50% field goals, that's when you kind of have to look at yourself like, okay, like what am I actually doing wrong? And for me, Tulane happened to be the way for me just to easily and effectively score in the red zone. Now, actually, this guy's kind of dotting me right now. This guy's actually had some very good drives against me. And when I really start to even look further into Tulane, I think they just had better secondary formations. UCLA, I didn't really love their secondary formations a ton within this game. Now, back to the game though, 11 seconds before half, this guy's played great offense so far. I haven't really even sniffed like a stop against him. Now, we are going to fair catch this right here. It's going to be tough for me to get in field goal range, especially with 11 seconds left, no timeouts too. Not impossible, but still tough, right? Whenever you get into a spot like this, I would actually recommend like 90% of people just take a knee and call it half. I really do think more negative situations will happen for people than positive situations here. And just actually like being like, I know it sounds boring, right? But like just being mature and like taking a kneel is probably going to give you a better chance at actually winning the game. Now, I'm not going to be doing that. That sounds boring to me. So we are going to try to be a gunslinger here. Now, he's going to do a great job taking everything away. And that's why we're a gunslinger, boys. Just good old traditional gunslinger. Now, those it for you guys. Don't hurry up. Just go back to the huddle. I like to have Spike favorited. We go ahead and we pick Spike right here. 3 seconds comes off the clock. Field goal range, just like that, boys. Now, the reason why I actually did throw that is I actually felt like if it was a pick, he wasn't getting into field goal range anyways. And best case scenario, as you guys are seeing, we go ahead and just pooch and kick 3. Ooh. I thought for a second I might not have enough power on that. But 17-14 at half, boys. And, you know, let's be clear. I just got insanely lucky. I'm not going to sit here, be delusional, and act like I did not get insanely lucky. But at the same time, one of the reasons why I do like Tulane, I feel like it's very easy just to pick up big chunk plays too. You know, I think you can have like 2 very different styles of offenses with this. Now, I know many of you guys obviously know who Civil is at this point. Civil actually used to run bunch tight end. Madden 22 was unstoppable. He just knew how to bomb everything. Was so good at having like a bomb for any type of coverage. And you can still play like that in bunch tight end, right? You can easily have 1-play touchdowns, right? But at the same time, the reason why I really like bunch tight end this year is because of how patient you can also play out of it. I feel like it's a very easy offense just to pick up that like easy yardage, right? You know, like the 5 to 10 yard, 0 to 5 yard, 10 to 20 yard. It's kind of like that medium yardage range, right? And I feel like it's just, again, like very easy for us to pick up that yardage, which is a major plus, right? I think that is incredibly good of any offense, right? You know, the offenses that can just also work their way down the field. It's not reliant on an easy 1-play touchdown, right? You know, too many offenses I think are a little bit too what I would classify as bomb happy. That is not what this offense is. This offense is not just like this like crazy bomb happy offense. Can it be? Yes, 100%. But it's not going to be something that you just have to rely on the big play for the entire game. Now, we need to actually have a little bit better of a switch stick here, boys, as ooh, I didn't think he would throw that after I switched it onto that side of the field. But so far, we really have not sipped a stop at him. Now, I'm actually going to run just like a little bit of a standard cover 4 quarters right here. DPAPs play a little bit differently after the patch, so I have to just also be mindful of that. You know, so much of this is actually me learning about the new patch too. You know, I haven't played a ton of... It's like his first bad read, boys. I'll let it slide. But I really haven't played a ton of new games since the patch, personally. For me, I don't think that the patch drastically changed anything. I don't know if you boys, like feel any different in any way, but the patch like feels pretty similar to me, as he's actually gonna go ahead and flip his bunch tight end right now. You guys can just see how popular this is. He's gonna have the underneath route. We're gonna switch stick. Hopefully that one's a pick. Okay, and that was a pick. Good pick, Anthony Hill. Fun fact, this guy actually follows me on Twitter. I know he's like one of the best linebackers in the nation. I hope he's a dog. I root for this man's success every single day. But finally, we get a stop here, and now we do talk about this red zone, right? So now we are in the red zone. You might be wondering, what's like the crazy key to my success in the red zone in this offense? Boys, it's as simple as a bubble. It's as simple as a boom bubble. You throw it, and you watch yourself walk into the end zone. It's really just as simple as that. Man coverage doesn't really stop it very effectively, and then zone coverage doesn't stop it very effectively either. Where I'm not going to say it's like a regardless throw, right? Like there is a situation if a user is all the way covering it, I probably wouldn't regardless throw it, but it's going to be very rare that you ever see that one be a pick. So also be mindful of that when you do happen to ever throw a bubble. Bubbles, I would say, are a pretty safe throw. Typically, the only way it'll ever get like a negative situation is if some way, somehow, they have just a great user play, which can happen. I have thrown a total of 1 pick 6 on a bubble this year. Kid you not, I was actually in shock too when it happened. It was the first time it happened, only time it happened, where I did have a bubble just picked off. Feel like the blocking is really good. You can actually trust the blocking on that play. That's not also, ooh, that one should have been a pick. That's also not always the case where you can trust the blocking. That's one of the RPOs where I feel like you can confidently trust the blocking on that play. Now, in terms of what we're doing right here, I actually think I should be running a little bit more cover 4. I think the way he's been playing, cover 4 actually is going to do a better job against him. Right here, really good by us. We should get there with a switch stick, and I'm hoping that's not a consistent thing. I hope that we don't consistently drop picks. I'm gonna just let that one slide, right? You know, I'm curious to see what your guys' takes on interceptions are. I feel like as like a competitive player, right, we're always saying like fix drop picks, right? But I would be curious, right, about like somebody that maybe isn't like the high end of the competitive scene, right? Like, what's your guys' opinions on drop picks, right? Do you think it's like realistic? Do you guys think that it happens at a rate it should have? Do you guys think it's just too many obvious drops? Because I do think that the whole drop pick argument, right, is that every single DB in real life is not going to catch every single pick, right? And like that's a good plays by him. That's also a fair argument, right? You know, DBs in real life aren't going to catch every single pick. But for me, especially in a game that might be a little bit tougher defensively, if you do happen to get your player in position to catch a pick, I would really like that to be a pick the majority of the time. It would make my day if that was the case. Now, right here, good switches by us. I don't think he had that right there. I'm actually gonna clip right here. One of the reasons why I like PlayStation is actually just for the clipping system. Oh, you know what's crazy? I actually think he did have this. Yeah, I think Randy actually, I think we just got fried right there. So actually, good dot by him. I don't typically press a ton in this game because of stuff like that. Pressing is probably one of the things I would recommend staying away from. It's one of the things that just hasn't been very good for, honestly, a long period of time. Like, I actually can't remember. Like, it might be Madden 22 was the last time you could actually, like, press in a game, football video game. College is near impossible with just, like, takeoff and everything. Takeoff makes pressing, honestly, like, irrelevant in these games. So, you really want to stay away from pressing, right? You don't want to be pressing. You'll give up too many easy touchdowns, as I just did right there. Now, 1st and 10 right here, we are actually going to not run the bubble here. We'll just go ahead and run mesh again here. I don't think he played the best defense last time I saw against it here too. Ooh, he's really trying to take, if you guys are actually like really, he's really doing everything to try to take away this bubble right here. He is getting like super close with his man coverage in terms of trying to take away that bubble. Now, I do want to show you guys a little bit of the trips tight end offset weak here. So let's just go ahead, quickly show you guys what this formation is like. Now, I really like this because of how the tight end corner is going to get spacing wise. It's very easy just to have like a simple read on this play. Now, I'm actually going to audible through a little bit of an inside zone here too. And that's one of the reasons why I like this too, right? I can just easily audible to that formation. And then my running back's on the other side, right? So you just have to think, like, it's the little things, right? You have to think that, okay, when I run bunch tight end, excuse me, my running back's going to be on the right. Any of my runs are going to go from right to left, right? I'm not really going to be able to run a counter to the opposite side. If I just do like boom, boom, like simple audible like this, I can easily run the ball to the other side, right? So if they happen to overcommit to one side, again, it's just like the little things like that. I know a lot of you guys might not think about something along the lines of that. Now, I'm being a little bit too slow with my audibles right here, which is just my fault. I'm just talking a little bit too much right here. We're actually, there have been a couple of times we've kind of worked myself into negative situations. I want to make sure we also steer clear of that here too. Now, we're just going to go ahead and run our auto motion wheel right here. Now, he is running a little bit more of a back off man coverage look here. So whenever they're running back to off man, I never anticipate the wheel to really get open. Now, we did try to hit him with the juke right there. Sadly, we weren't able to get any extra yardage with that one. But it's one of the things I do think about when it comes to the auto motion wheel. It is just like really good against like the press style of defense. You know, if you're not playing like a press style of defense, I probably wouldn't run it a ton in anticipation it is going to fry. Now, right here, it actually gets very good pressure right here. Let's go ahead and we'll chalk that one up. We'll go ahead and throw that one away there. So we're in like the high red zone right now. This is why I mean 22, so it's not technically red zone, right? But we are close to the high red zone. So we're actually going to go to a little bit more of trips right here. I feel like he's like struggled to stop this so far. I haven't really seen a ton of him being able to stop this right here. Tight end corner. A little bit of a bad pass lead by me. I passed that a little bit too far out. But you guys can see like how good that tight end corner is, right? You know, tight end corners are just, they're going to fry, right? It's a very simple, like you put tight end corners on the field. One of the best man beating routes within this game. Now we're going to run a little mesh concept. We're going to take our underneath route right there, as we are going to be on a 4th and 1. Okay, so he actually did have a little bit of a good defensive sequence right here. 4th and 1 here. Main coverage played well right there. Now, I do think obviously we could have picked up a 4th down on the play before. I'm going to be flipping here, personally. I will be sweating. I do apologize, boys. Now, I'm going to go ahead and send down this speed out right here. I noticed it to be a slightly better man-beating route. And you guys can see he gets a little bit jammed right there. Makes his route run a little bit further, though. But still, easy route. Speed out, such an effective route in this game. Obviously, in bunch tight end, you do have 3 slot wide receivers, so any of your receivers at any point can go on speed out. And gives us a 31-21 lead right here. Now, when it comes to offensively and ideas that I just kind of have for you guys in general to also think about is to really think about how you can space the field, right? What are effective ways that you can space the field? Now, I used to actually be one of the players that never knew how to space the field from condensed formations. What I mean by condensed, I mean the bunch tight ends, the bunches, any tight formation, right? Like tights, it's not tight slots. It's like this old Saints Madden. If you guys know what it is, like tight slots open. I don't think that's it, but you guys get the point, right? Just any type of like tight formation, right? And for me personally, right, I used to never know how to space those formations. For me, those formations were like the worst thing ever, right? I hated those formations, like without an exaggeration. Those formations were so bad for me. I always had to have an offense that was initially spaced at the line of scrimmage, like a trips tight end, right? Like a U-trips, right? Anything that was spaced at the line of scrimmage, it just like always made more sense in my head. It always made more sense in my head in terms of like, how am I actually supposed to play offense, right? Now, as time went on, I kind of started to figure out how to space those offenses a little bit better, right? So any of those condensed formations, I felt like I just had actually a lot better of an idea of like, how do you actually space this offense? How do I get players open that don't run into each other at the same time? And just like little things along the lines of that, right? Now, right there, wow, this guy is, oof. This guy's throwing some tight window throws right now. I thought Charles was actually about to bite down on that. But, you know, I think it's a big thing when thinking about offenses, right? You know, whatever offense you guys do end up deciding to run, I do think it should be Tulane, personally. I think Tulane is like the perfect playbook for so many people. But you should always think about how to space the field, right? It's a very easy, simple thing. And there we go, boys. Bam, bam, Cam. I'm a Seahawks fan, so I actually grew up watching the Legion of Boom. Finally able to get an interception right there. And we are about to start the 4th quarter here. Now, one of the things that's really, oh, is he going to quit out? Okay, boys, looks like he is actually going to quit out. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2. Boys, game numero dos now. Did actually take 9 years of Spanish growing up. Could not really speak much Spanish, but I did take 9 years of Spanish growing up. Now, to get kind of back to my thoughts of what I was about to say before that guy rudely quit out that last game, it's a very good offense for killing the game. And what I mean by that is, you know, your 4-minute offenses, your 2-minute offenses, when you just need to kill clock, Tulane is going to be such a good offense. Now, I do also want to expand a little bit more this game with this playbook. So I want to go ahead and run this gun halfback trips week right here. So as you guys can see, we are going to run a little bit of a halfback direct right here. Now, halfback direct's very, very good in this game. And if you guys actually want even a little bit more of a bonus thing here, the on target feature actually now does work on run plays. So this guy that I did on target will actually not be blocked. I obviously want this middle backer blocked, so I'll go ahead and ID him. But you guys are going to go ahead and see, right? I actually kind of messed up right there with my run stick. But on those run plays, right, is you are going to be able to untarget somebody. So that's just something to be mindful of, right? It could be something that could completely hurt you like that, but it could also be something that's very, very beneficial to your advantage, right? You know, it's one of those features that I'm still getting used to. It's really never something I've had before. So it's just, how do you maximize a feature like that? Now, right here, looks like his user is going to run to that crosser. We are just going to hit our underneath route and pick up another good chunk of yards right there. Now, I'm trying to think of like other plays, right? I'll go ahead, right? Let's just go ahead and show this motion inside zone right here. Now, this isn't really something I actually call a ton right here, but whenever you're on offense, you should always be looking for plays that look like a similar concept to very good passing plays, right? So something like that, right? Like very simple. We go ahead and have a one-on-one stiff arm potential, and we pick up 5 yards right there. But the biggest thing is that how that opens up the offense later, right? Now, when he automatically thinks about the auto motion, he doesn't know if it's going to be the wheel route or if it is just going to be a standard inside zone. So you always have to be thinking about like how you're setting up plays on offense. Sequencing what you are doing, what is and what isn't good. Now, right here does look like he's in just a standard zone. I don't think he's going to be sending any pressure out of this look. Now, there are times where I still like the auto motion wheel against zone coverage. It's not like my favorite thing ever against zone. It's definitely a lot better against man, but it's still something you can call against zone too, which is why it is so important in this game too. Now, at the start of last game, we did talk a little bit about flipping. So I also want to talk about the reason why flipping is also a little bit more beneficial at times too, is you can actually go ahead and run this formation to the short hash of the field. So notice how my bunch here is on that short side of the field. It's going to be a little bit tougher to attack that sideline, but at the same time, it is going to be very good for some specific route concepts. And one of the routes that it's going to be very good for is going to be the return route. Very simple, very easy, effective thing that you can run on the short side of the field. Now, I do recommend you always run it on the wide side of the field, but you can also run it on the short side of the field if you so choose to. Now, we are going to go to a little bit of a verticals look here in the red zone. He's actually going to scream at us. We got to make sure we get that ball out quick right here. And verticals is like one of my favorite high red zone plays. I think it's just a very easy and effective high red zone play. Now, red zone. Talked a lot about red zone this last time. And the reason why we talked a lot about red zone this last time is going to be for this single back. What is it called? Hold on. Single back. Let me get the right name for you boys. Ace double wing. That is what it's called. Halfback stretch is money from this. Love halfback stretch. If I call it 3 straight times, I'm almost always confident I will score from it. I can also audible to goal line, which is very nice out of it too. If I go ahead and actually scroll through the personnel right here, you'll notice I actually have a fullback right here. So I do have the ability just to go to like a quarterback sneak too. Quarterback sneak is a very good run against specific defenses. So it just complements its red zone very well. And I did mention at the end of last game, I am a Seahawks fan, and as a Seahawks fan, I sadly know what it's like to not score from the 1 yard line. So being able to score from the 1 yard line is something that I will forever, ever, for the rest of my life, try to figure out how to do to the best of my ability. And this formation is going to be so good at doing it. Now we are going to be on defense right here. I'm curious about what this guy runs on offense. Last time we played on offense, he was solid. He was definitely solid. Made a couple bad reads kind of towards the end of the game, but he was actually able to use like a lot of just like standard concepts. As kind of hoping we get a hit stick right there, boys. Sadly for us, we did not get a hit stick though. I think we're gonna run a little bit more of single mug this game. Haven't been enjoying single mug. I think single mug just a very good defense. Also just is good defense to run like a standard like Texas four-man here too. Now a little bit of a run play from him too. One of the funny things about this patch, I wasn't gonna mention it, but I feel like I almost have to mention it because I've seen him now in both of our games. Somehow Adrian Peterson is white now. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter much, but there was also an instance where Lawrence Taylor was also white. I don't exactly know how to patch change his skin color, but it's kind of funny to me. I'm one of those people, I'll keep it a buck, boys. I don't care about player models in this game. I never have. I never will. I just want the game to be balanced. If the game plays good, I don't really care about anything else. Yes, you guys can go ahead and be upset with that take, right? Because I know, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discredit the people that like care about that stuff, right? At the end of the day, like everyone should be able to get what they want out of this game, whether it's like wearing their teams like favorite jerseys, right? Whether it's being able to like have like road to glory be like the best it possibly could be. You should be able to get what you want out of this game, no matter what. I think that's like a perfectly ideal like ask for everybody. For me personally, I just don't care about player models, helmet sizes, shoulder pad sizes. I've seen so much stuff about this whole like aesthetics about how the game is and isn't supposed to be looking. I just want balanced gameplay, man. If the gameplay is balanced, I am happy. It's just as simple as that. Now, second game that we played where this guy has actually played pretty good offense to start the game, and I'm trying to figure out a little bit better ways to play defensively, right? You know, defense is a little bit tougher right now. I do think that even with this patch, this is still an offensive-based game. I don't think this is the easiest defensive game ever. I think this is a slightly easier offensive-based game, right? So it is something that, for a lot of people, I think are still going to struggle at getting like consistent stops. Now, one of the biggest things about getting consistent stops is just going to be switch stick. I always say it, like, time in and time out. If you want to be good on defense, man, just be good with your switch stick. If you're good with your switch stick, those are going to be your best chances at ever stopping somebody, is just getting somebody with a good switch stick pick. Now, show the second quarter right here, we did hit a good solid post over the middle of the field right there. I do kind of wish they would change the screen. Random, boys. That screen, like, you can actually pick plays when that screen is up, which kind of annoys me. And it was a thing in Madden too. When I was playing like the Madden beta, it was also a thing. I'm actually recording this before Madden comes out. Madden comes out tomorrow for me. Well, actually, technically today for me now. I actually record these videos so late, boys. Whenever I like do my own recordings like this, they're typically at like, it's 1 a.m. right now, boys. It is very late. I'm very fortunate that the college that I go to, the two roommates, they're not roommates, but the people that live like by me, they know what I do, so they've told me they don't really care, and they've told me they can never hear me or anything like that. Shout out them, man. They're the real goats for you guys in terms of getting you guys this video, because you know, honestly, I get so busy during the day with so many other things that recording for me at the end of the night just it always happens just to be a little bit easier for me. But back to offense right here, a little bit of a mesh concept. I might have been able to highball the post right there. I do try to stay away from highball reads in this game. I get a lot of questions about, you know, why is my receiver not catching high balls? And if you guys want the simple answer to that, EA will always patch the most overpowered thing from one year to another. So if high balls are really overpowered within 1 year's game, they are just going to patch them within the next year's game. They're just not going to make them good, right? Yeah, I think high ball was a very abused mechanic in College Football 25, but also Madden 25 for any of my boys that did play Madden 25. And it's just very standard, right? Like the next year, it's just not going to be good. If you guys want like an example of this, Madden 22 was like the craziest low ball year I think we've ever seen. Like it was just such a crazy low ball year. You know, low balling was just such a little bit too close to read there, but low balling was such a crazy year in terms of just how routes would get open, how the defense would react to it. You could like have two defenders in like one spot to guard a low ball, and it still wouldn't actually guard the low ball. And the next year, I think they didn't remove low balling. I don't want you guys to get that impression, but they made it so bad. You literally couldn't low ball anymore. Like 75% of low balls would hit your offensive player's feet, and they would never react to it. It's kind of similar to what you're seeing with highballing this year. You know, highballing it's just not good, right? It's just not good. And for me, I do like that. I don't think that highballing is something that is that skillful when it is overpowered. You might be asking yourself, why is it not skillful? Because in some people's heads, you might be, okay, you know, we're putting a ball where I'm skillfully putting a ball high up where nobody else can pick it. That does make sense to me, but the reality of it is it leads to like more aggressive catches, leads to more crazy catching animations. Defensive players aren't going to get good animations on it, right? And I'm not talking about like the basic, just like standard drop kick, etc. Like they're just going to like flat out dumb out. So I'm not personally mad when they do like nerf something like highballing. The other year I played where highballing was like crazy overpowered would have been Madden 19. Madden 19, very good highball year. I know for a lot of you guys that is a game a very long time ago, but I've been around the block. We have been playing these games for a very long time. So 2019 was just like the last year that highballing was just like honestly kind of nuts. Like highballing was just like very good in that year's game. Something that so many people did do was just like it was like, boys, that's the second one that I've seen that probably should be a pick. I'm gonna give it a pass, boys. I'm gonna say that Travis Hunter doesn't have good enough ball skills, and he was the number 2 pick and not the number 1 pick for a reason. That's my excuse on that one. Back to highballs though, boys. Is that highballing in Madden, good switch stick from us. a little bit worried, boys. I'm a little bit worried. I do hope we get some house calls soon. But back to highballing. Hopefully we don't drop a third pick here. Hopefully that we catch a pick this play. That would be beautiful. I would love a catch pick. But yeah, Madden 19, it was just like incredibly broken. You would actually get like some of the, like really like some of the craziest animations I would ever see. And it was like 80% of your passes were just always going to be high balls every single play. So not surprised that they nerfed it. Madden 20 the year after, they completely nerfed highballing. And it just like wasn't a thing anymore. Now, there's like other mechanics from like one year to another that is different. I would say that like just general playbooks, that's probably one of the biggest things. You get a lot more auto motion wheel plays in this year's game in comparison to last year. I really like that. I don't know about you guys, but I love that what they have done to playbooks. I think that what they've done to playbooks is it's a very good thing, right? You know, I always think that adding more things to playbooks is going to be good. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. I really don't think that they need to add like new defensive features, and I know that might like surprise some people because I'm saying like I do wish defense was better. I'm also saying you don't need to add any features to it. I think they just need to make the core features in the game just better, like reaction time, shed timer, catching picks, right? You know, anything along the lines of that I think is just going to be a help for defense, where I think a lot of people think that you might have to add like some like crazy new defensive feature, right? Like I don't think, like I really don't feel like that's the case, right? I don't think you need to add a ton. Like they did do good things defensively on this game too. Hit sticking is very, very good. Stunting, very, very good. Even if it's, you can't pick it from the play call screen right now. Stunting, great addition, right? You know, SWAT animations, very good. I feel like SWAT animations, very, very clean in this year's game. But I do just feel like, you know, like shed timers, general zone, just needs like a little bit of a buff. I'm not asking for like anything insane, just like a slight little buff. That's all I'm asking for. And they did do a lot with match coverage. That's one of the things I've realized about EA. They like love match coverage for some reason. There's like something about match coverage that they just love. They adore match coverage for one reason or another. And I get like from like the NFL level, it is like a very popular thing. So it makes sense why they're so adamant on like getting match coverage like correct, right? You know, I do understand why match coverage, they really want to get it correct. Now we're just going to get into a little bit of a mid blitz right here. I don't feel like this guy has played great so far personally offense, so I do just want to try to get into a little bit more of a basic defense right here. Mid blitz is typically that defense. Now we are going to run a little bit of our stunt right here, and you know, I do really love this defense because you are able to send 6 from it. You're also able to stunt from it. You know, I think it makes the offense work a little bit harder in terms of being able to pick up easy yards. Now he's going to run a little bit of a design rollout right here. We do have really good defense. We are able to finally get the throwaway. I thought he was about to do something insane right there. And we do get him to a 4th and 18 finally. Now, one of the very few times you guys will actually ever see me use zone drops is going to be in a situation like this. I think I'm still going to send the house, though. Boys, we're still going to send the house, though. We're just going to send 6 right here. We have our zone drops playing at the line of sticks right here. I'm just going to lurk in the middle of the field with Travis Hunter. There's no need for me to even, like, get close to the line of scrimmage just because of the fact I know I have 6 people on the line of scrimmage. Either there's a little out route, short punt by him, and we are able to get back on offense. Now, back on offense, again, trying to talk a little bit more about offensive theories here. This is going to be a very easy offense to get 7s quickly, right? And I will actually take a shot play right here. Let's see if I'm able to. All right, I want to set up a shot play here. All right, see if we just get enough time here. Now, this isn't always going to work, but when it does work, it's a pretty good play, boys. It's a pretty good play. It's a play that I probably would recommend you guys running. But yes, very, very good offense at getting those quick, easy one-play touchdowns too. Now, I get the gritty animation so much in this game, but stuff like that in this game is so important. Easy one-play touchdowns against any coverage. You know, I get why everybody looks for those flashy plays because those are probably going to be the plays for a lot of people that separate themselves at like the starter level. But once you really start to like get into the game, like the high level stuff, there are just so many more minor things that are such a big reason why people do win and lose games. Now, I actually did score a little bit too quickly right there. I didn't want to score that quick right there. See if we're able to make a tackle, and we are right there. And with 35 seconds here, don't think I want to run midlets right here. We're not going to at least run it super aggressively. We're going to try playing a little bit more zone here. We're going to run a little bit more of the stunts here, right? Now, the reason why I do like running the stunts in this spot and not running a traditional mid-blitz, I just don't want to give up any easy one-play touchdowns, right? Any easy one-play touchdowns at this point in time would just be a net negative for me. Don't want to give up easy one-play touchdowns here. Don't believe there's anything open. That's kind of a scary read. Now, boys, I've also been recording. How long have we been recording for? 56 minutes. I need a quick sip of water, boys. These constant talking videos, I love them. Don't get me wrong. I know how much you guys really appreciate these. I typically actually get very nice comment on these. But there does come a point where I do just need to take a quick sip of water, boys. Now, he is able to get the first down right there. Not ideal. And he's actually going to go hurry up here. Which honestly, man, is fine. At this point, I'm not really tripping about him going hurry up here. We're just going to watch. Okay, well, I happen to be used right there. I was going to say I was going to watch the deep middle of the field myself, but he still finds a wide open player. Now, I don't understand why this sometimes happens. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it puts in like a crazy low overall backup. I kind of want to stay away from that one if I could. Please and thank you. I know it probably has something to do with wear and tear or something like that, but the reality of it is that player is good hit. That player isn't even my backup. Like, he's not even supposed to be, like, he is my middle linebacker 4, and somehow he just always finds his way onto the field. So hopefully I figure it out eventually, because I do not need him on my field whatsoever. Him being on my field is actually like a net negative asset. So trying to figure out how to get him off the field. Now, 9 seconds left in this half right here. Probably going to be looking for something. That's okay. I was going to say, I'm kind of just trying to take away the sideline right here. That's really all I do care about. We go ahead. Do we want to, like, go ahead and run something like this? Oh, he's, well, that was a crazy read, boys. Not sure why he threw that one. Let him more to the house. Yeah, there really wasn't many good things that could happen from him throwing that, but hey, works for me. Up to 28-7 here, boys. And is he going to tap? Let's see if he goes ahead and tap. We're going to hit him with another gritty. Very standard animation in this game. Tulane is rocking. And he is actually... Oh, is he going to quit? Looks like he is going to quit, boys. But, boys, I appreciate it a ton. That is my Tulane offense. That is one of my favorite ways of being able to run offense in this game. Is he not quitting? Boys, he might not be quitting. I'm not sure what's happening right here. But I'll just keep talking as if the video is over, and it is actually going to be over. I appreciate you guys all a ton for watching these videos. If you guys do like these videos, if you guys can like and subscribe, it means the world to me. And if you guys want to keep seeing content like this, make sure you guys tell me what you want to see next. But boys, I'll see you guys all next time.